Guys, so today's lesson was a continuation of what we did yesterday. Today we were learning on how to converting rational numbers into fractions. We went from regular plain old numbers that terminate into repeating decimals. First things first, since today you were not able to access the class, we're going to look into what you had as a bell work, and I will need you guys to go actually into the bell work on our website using your Blackboard and complete it still. So this was the bell work. So make sure you go into My SCS. From My SCS, you're going to have to go into week 2, and today is Friday. And then you're going to click on your class period to complete this bell work, please. Homework from yesterday. Let's go over it. Once you're doing this, you can send it to me as an attachment. You can go into Word, Microsoft Word, and you can type the answers in. So for instance, question number 1 says, what is 31? Is 31 rational or irrational number? So if I look at 31, I know 31 ends, it terminates. So if it terminates, it's rational because it makes sense, right? Question number 2, 3.2. 3.2 is a done deal. So also that is rational number because it ended. 2 pi. The second I see the letter pi, it's really a number, and pi is irrational. So if I have a pi, I know it is indeed irrational. Now, how are you going to put it in? If you look, I opened a Word document. I put in page number for homework, and 1, so let's see, we said number 1 was rational, so I'll just put R. Then I go to 2, also rational. 3, we said it's irrational. Now let's look at question number 4. 14.32, and this line above the 32 is telling me that that 32 is repeating. So next is 32, 32, 32. So remember, if you can predict the behavior, the number is acting very rationally. It knows what it wants to be. So 14.32 and the 32 is repeating, that means it's rational. Square root of 14. If you were to take your calculator, and on your calculator, the one that we are supposed to be using in class, if you type in 14, so I'll take my calculator and I'll put in 14, and I'm going to take a square root of 14. Square root is next to the division sign, so it's this one right there. So I'll press that, and the digit that came out looks like this. It's a big old mess. And every number after the decimal point, it's different, and it goes to infinity. So square root of 14 is actually irrational because every digit is different. The number doesn't know what it wants to become. 3/5. 3/5 is a fraction, and we said fractions are rational. Square root of 16, if you put that in your calculator, you will get square root of 16 is equal to 4. And 4 is rational. 9.5, the 5 is repeating. So if it repeats, I know what number comes next. So it's acting very rationally. The next one, if you see these dots, it tells me this number continues, and it goes on and on and on. But I don't know, I cannot predict what letter is coming next. So if I cannot predict, it's an unpredictable behavior, that's irrational. 10, it's a fraction, that's rational. Number 11, pi. Anytime you see the letter pi, you know it's irrational. And question 12, 2.46592. Done deal. So I'm not guessing anything. If it terminates, if it ends, it's rational. So that is homework from yesterday. So you will be putting it into Microsoft Word, all right? So you're going to finish it up in here. So 14 was rational, so on and so forth, right? You're going to go all the way to 12. And we said 12 was also rational. So I'm going to put 12 somewhere in here, and I know it's rational. You guys will finish this up. You're going to go to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, Today we're going to continue with this lesson. Today's lesson was about converting, as I said, decimals into fractions. If you look at your homework book, you're going to see that there is, I believe it's on page, let me look real quick. If I open it up, you all have it. I sent it to you. If you look at page 6, it's in there. All right, so that chart is in there. What it's telling you is that you have spots when it comes to our number system. The one to the left, that's always the ones. This is ones. The one next to it is tens. So it's like a number 10, all right? Then if you look to the right of the decimal point, we have tenths. I'm gonna just put the number 10 and then T, H, S. And then next to it is 100ths. So on and so forth, okay? You can see it on top. If you look at the chart, it's all in here. Now let's see, how does this apply? If you go back into end of 6th grade, beginning of 7th grade, you guys were learning how to convert decimals into fraction. So you have to look at this number, 0.3. And you're going to look at the last digit that you see, the 3 in here. The 3 is in a 10th spot. So I know it's 3/10. Now, if I was to write this as a fraction, it's literally what it sounds like. 3/10, 3/10, because the last digit is in the 10th spot. Now, anytime I can put a number into a fraction, and also 0.3, it ended, right? So 0.3 is a rational number. 3/10 cannot be simplified. If you can simplify, you can always type it into your calculators. So I'm going to go to number 3. ABC means a fraction, so I'm going to press that. Now you're going to see the little notch in there, and it's 3/10, and press equal. And guess what? Your calculator will tell you it's still 3/10. It cannot be simplified. Let's go to the next example. 0.36. Well, let's look at the last digit. It's the 6. So we need to determine which spot is the 6 in. Well, the 3 is in tens. The 6 is in a 100th spot. So I have 36/100ths. So if I was to write that as a fraction, it will be 36/100. Now, I want you guys to simplify it. All right, so again, you're going to take your calculator. The numerator, the number on top, is 36. ABC stands for fraction, and 100. And then I'm going to press equal sign. And it simplified it for me, and it says is 9/25. So this is the answer. I will accept both. You can give it to me as 36/100 or 9/25. It's a decimal, it terminated, so the 0.36 is a rational number. Let's look at the next one. In this case, if you notice, there is a line above the 3. And we talked about it yesterday. If there is a line above that number, the line tells me the 3 is repeating. So it's 0.333333, and it goes on and on and on. Anytime a digit repeats, that means the number will never end, and it's never going to become its full potential. So your job is going to be determine which spot that last digit is. Well, in this case, I know it's still in a 10th spot. But the rule is, when the digit is repeating, you have to subtract 1. So normally, if it was 0.3, it will be 3/10. But since the 3 is repeating, we do 10 minus 1. So the answer is 3 over 10 minus 1 is 9. And this only goes when the numbers are repeating, all right? And if it's a repeating decimal, which can be put as a fraction, it's a rational number. Let's look at the next example. Example 4. Let's convert this into a fraction. 0.36, and that 36 is line above it. That tells me the next is 36, 36, 36. It's repeating, so I know it's a rational number. And again, the number is never going to become its full potential. So I'm going to go look at the last digit, which is the 6. And I know the 6 is in a 100 spot normally, right? But because it's repeating, as we said, when it repeats, subtract 1. So the answer to this is 36 over 100 minus 1 is 99. Anytime a digit repeats, when it repeats, subtract 1. Now we're going to see if we can simplify it. So 36 over 99. So I go 36, this is my fraction, ABC, over 99. Now I'm going to press equal sign, and there's my answer, 4 11ths. So the answer after I simplified it is equal to 4 over 11. I would accept both of these answers. I prefer the simplest form, so make sure you have the calculators, okay? Let's look at the next example. Example 5. They wanted me to write this big number, and you see those dots? That tells me the number goes on and on and on, and I cannot see any pattern. I see that there's no way I convert that into a fraction because there's no way for me to do it. There's nothing coming. It's not ending. It's not repeating. So 0.36597 cannot be written as a fraction. This number is, because it goes to infinity where every digit is different, this number is irrational. Let's look at the next example. Oh, pi, I know pi right off the bat is irrational. And guess what? Irrational numbers cannot be written as a fraction. So this cannot be written as a fraction because the number is irrational. Well, that was quick. Now we're going to look at the homework. So we're going to go back to page 9 and we're going to finish it up. Question numbers 13 through 21. I'm going to give you guys a head start. This is how you will do this on that Microsoft Word. So you're going to keep that document open or you're going to reopen it. And look at question number 13. 0.6, and the 6 is not repeating, right? So only thing I have to do, the 6 is in a 10th spot, and since it's not repeating, the answer is just plain old 6/10. Now you're going to try to simplify it. All right, they both are divisible by 2 in case you don't have a calculator. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So there's another answer. So I don't care how you give it to me. You can give me 6/10 or you can give me 3/5. So I'm going to go into my Microsoft Word. And question number 12 we already answered. And I'm going to go to question 13. And the answer is, let's say 3/5. The way to write it, you're going to put 3. And then you're going to use the slash that has a question mark above it. And the denominator is 5. There's my 3/5. So 3 over 5. All right. And then you're going to continue with 14, 15. Let's look at 16. 16, the last digit is 7. The 7 is in a 100 spot. And since the number is not repeating, that's the answer. I have 37 over 100. And that's how you're going to go in here in Microsoft Word, right? So you're going to go 13, you give me answer for 14, you will give me answer for 15, 16, and 17 is what we just did. And we said that's 16 is 37 over 100. 37/100. Question 17 is 0.3 repeating. And that's what we just did. The second it repeats, you have to look at what spot it is. The 3 is in a 10 spot. And because there's that line above it, it's repeating, subtract 1. So the answer is 3, which is in a numerator. 10 minus 1 is 9. And here's my answer. It's either 3 over 9, or if you simplify it, they both are divisible by 3, unless you put it in your calculator. My answer is also 1/3. So I'm going to go back into my Microsoft Word. I'm going to open it up. 17, we said, is 1/3. And now you're going to send it to me. Once you complete all of the questions, you're going to go to File, Save As, and I prefer saving it on a desktop. So make sure you're on a desktop, all right? You can press this PC or however your computer is set up. I'm going to name it Homework 1, and I'm going to press Save. And then I will X out of it, and I will email it to my teacher, which is me, Ms. Baltier, as an attachment. If you guys have any questions, please send me an email. Hopefully this tutorial will help you out. I'm going to be available the whole weekend till the rest of today. Seriously, if you need anything, please do not hesitate to email me, all right? Have a nice day.